Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. Much of Roronoa Zoro's past is something that hasn't been revealed to us, and there could be something very important that has yet to be revealed, something that might relate to Zoro's father or even his mother. Throughout Zoro's part of the story, we've had some clues about Zoro's possible origin, but over time, all of them have been disproved, leaving us with absolutely no idea who his parents could be. So in today's video, we're going to talk about what could have happened to Zoro's parents during the past to have abandoned him, and how important Zoros father could have been while he was still alive. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like and even subscribe and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out, especially with that old YouTube algorithm, and it keeps motivating us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, Zoro was born in the East Blue, having a totally unknown past, and not even knowing about his parents or even close relatives for that matter, spending his entire childhood alone in search of strength. During past flashbacks, we've seen that Zoro tried to become a great swordsman ever since he was little, even training in a dojo to become stronger so that one day he would be recognized worldwide as the greatest swordsman in the world. No family member of Zoro's has ever been mentioned, which made fans very curious to know the true origin of this character so important to the work of One Piece. Zoro is one of the only Straw Hats that we don't know about their family, just like Brook and Frankie. During his entire journey, Zoro has never mentioned any of his family members, nor has he ever been asked about them, and we don't exactly know if Zoro already met his family or if he avoids talking about them. The one thing that we do know is that since he was young, Zoro has had the great ambition to become a great swordsman, which may mean that his father, before he disappeared or even lost his life, may have made this determination grow in the young Zoro. Because Zoro has been a swordsman since childhood, many in the community have had ideas that his father could have also been a swordsman before anything happened to him. So fans have waited a long time to see some figure similar to Zoro, hoping that this character could in fact be Zoro's father. But then, during the Wano arc, a figure very similar to Zoro emerged, a character called Shimotsuki Ushimaru, being a member of the Shimotsuki family and Ringo's last daimyo in Wano country. Now Ushimaru has passed on and is now dead after participating in the battle against Kaido, but in the flashbacks which he appeared, it was said that he was a direct descendant of the legendary samurai Shimotsuki Ryuma. Now Ryuma was an extremely skilled samurai that Zoro has already faced during the Thriller Bark arc, which made many fans realize that this character could have had some relation to Zoro. In fact, there were quite a few similarities between Zoro and Ushimaru, which made us create an idea that Ushimaru could really be Zoro's father. But for some unseen reason, he might have had to abandon his son in the East Blue. But this was something that seemed to further support the idea that Ushimaru could be Zoro's father, because during the launch of the chapter, and where his face appears perfectly, he was shown in a flashback where he talks and helps Yamato try to escape the handcuffs that had been placed on him by his father Kaido. During this flashback, it was possible to see the full features of Ushimaru's face, being a man who had a pronounced nose and who had his hair half spiked in the front and tied in a large thick bun at the back. After being defeated and imprisoned by Kaido, he wore bandages around his head that covered his left eye, and he bore a striking resemblance to Roronoa Zoro, particularly in his youth, further strengthening the likelihood that he could be Zoro's father. Unfortunately, all this came tumbling down when Oda released new information in SBS about this character, revealing that Ushimaru had dark blue hair, which partly ruled out the possibility that Zoro could really be his son because Zoro has green hair. However, this doesn't entirely rule out the possibility that Zoro could be this character's son, as Zoro could have inherited his mother's hair color, further making the possibility that Zoro was Ushimaru's son still possible. This was all until in SBS, where Oda answered some questions asked by fans about the story of One Piece. And in that release, Oda revealed to us that Ushimaru is not Zoro's father, even though these two characters carry quite a few similarities between them. Oda even said that he didn't really mean to do this on purpose. His intention was never to make Ushimaru look like Zoro, but he ended up making these two characters look similar without even realizing it, allowing this idea to spread and emerge among the fan base. So because of all the questions from fans, he had to justify the non-existence of any relationship between Zoro and Ushimaru, taking away the possibility that Zoro could have originated from Wano and that his father was a very important swordsman in the past. So yet again, Zoro's parentage became a great mystery of the story, and it might not ever be revealed because Oda has already said in SBS about Luffy's mother that after they leave home, the adventure of these characters begin and they don't look back. Oda even went a little further, saying that he has never intended to show the story of Luffy's mother, although he might have already gone back and shown her face in a promotional page for the One Piece film Red movie. So if he doesn't intend to reveal Luffy's mother, he probably also doesn't intend to introduce Zoro's mother or even his father, unless it's absolutely necessary to the story. So although this leaves the door open a tiny crack for the possibility that we might learn something about Zoro's parentage. As I just said, it's only going to be possible if the revelation of these faces and individuals brings something essential for the story to flow. After all, Oda likes to only show scenes that really are of great importance to the story, and this way only important events are going to be introduced, leaving us in doubt if Zoro's family members will ever appear in the future. So the only thing we do know about Zoro's past is that from his introduction, he was 8 years old. Don't know much about any of his previous years, but at this age, Zoro was already training to get stronger to become a great swordsman. Zoro trained in a dojo in Shimotsuki village, where he managed to further develop his sword techniques. Now we don't know how Zoro got to this dojo, much less how he was accepted to be one of the students. And Oda has also made it clear that he doesn't wish to delve into Zoro's past, because during the Baratie arc, Zoro stated that once he decided that he would become the best and greatest swordsman in the world, he left his old life behind, which means that he doesn't necessarily care about his past, not necessarily caring about the reasons that led his parents to be absent, in addition to Zoro only aiming for the future in which he would become the greatest swordsman in the world. Now, even as a child, Zoro was strong enough to defeat most adults, but he could never defeat Kuina, the daughter of the dojo master Kushiro, a swordsman in which he appears to be related to somebody from Wano. Kushiro had on his clothes a symbol of one of the ancient blacksmiths of Wano. In fact, the very man that created Enma and its twin sword, being an extremely skilled blacksmith, having an end that hasn't been yet explained. In another flashback we saw during a training session, he met Kuina's grandfather, Shimotsuki Kozaburo, a former swordsman who possibly has a deeper connection to Wano, further raising the possibility that this family could have originated from the country of Wano. Kozaburo showed great affection for Wano and wanted the little boy to get stronger and become a great swordsman, even giving him a pair of swords to help him practice. But unfortunately, after 2,000 fights against Kuina, in which he lost every match against her, Zoro privately challenged her to one more match with real swords, willing to show his true worth to the girl he wished to surpass. Now, although he had proved tremendously since their first match, he still lost and cried in frustration, telling Kuina about his dream about wanting to become the greatest swordsman in the world. Upon hearing this, Kuina told Zoro that she too had the same dream, but she knew that she might never achieve it because her father told her that girls could never become true swords masters and that their fighting potential would diminish as their body matured. Zoro was angered by her attitude despite repeatedly winning against him, and he told her that one day he would beat her because he was more skilled, not because she was a girl. And the two then made their promise that one of them would one day become the greatest swordsman in the world. But as we know, in a tragic twist, the next day Kuina suffered a fatal fall down the stairs of the dojo, and much to Zoro's anger and disappointment, he realized that she would never have the chance to fulfill her dream. So Zoro took it upon himself, asking Kyoshiro for his sword, the Wado Ichimonji, and set to work on developing his three-sword style. So this is the origin story of this character, demonstrating the reasons that led Zoro to have this great determination to become the greatest swordsman in the world. Because not only does he carry his own dreams, but the dream of his former rival and the one person that he could never beat as a child, Kuina. So as we move forward into this final saga of One Piece, having no details about this character's parents, what we have left is to wait in the hope that maybe Oda might introduce a deeper story about Zoro in the future, revealing his parentage along with a big reveal that could make Zoro all the stronger. So with all that said, my friends, we'd now love to know what you think about it. Why do you think we've never heard about Zoro's parentage? I mean, we've heard in SBSs that Oda really doesn't like to talk about other characters' parents, whether it be mothers or fathers or anything else, unless it really has a bearing on the story. But do you think there's a deeper reason? And do you think we might ever get just a little hint about where Zoro came from? Next, when do you think Zoro might finally achieve that dream? We know that we have this long-awaited rematch between Zoro and Mihawk. So when do you think that might happen, and how do you think it might play out? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video for the day, we'd like to thank you all so much for listening and watching, especially those of you who've made it to the very end. Be sure to comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I hope to see you all in our next video. Let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.